fix it na lang, Mia, if you see something.
Oh, I sent it.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome back to the fourth section of hashtag Grow Her Game, Filipinas Football Forum at Home series. I'm Belay Fernando, and I'm super excited for our discussion for today. It's growing up to women's football and stories of young game changers. And of course, we have some very talented game changers with us here today. Natasha, can you introduce them to us?
I thought I was the young, one of the young ones. But anyway, of course, so welcome everyone. And of course, as Belay said, we have a couple of young, bright football stars with us today. We'll start off with the youngest of the bunch. We have Raya Tolentino. She's a 15-year-old defender, midfielder from Cebu. She's currently with Sacred Heart School Ateneo de Cebu. She's won MVP in numerous national tournaments, and she's starting her youth national team campaign as the team captain of the U16 national team, and recently in the AFF U16 Girls Championship, where they reached 4th place in 2019. So let's give it up for Raya. And next up, we have Anya Fuentes. She's a 17-year-old winger from Manila. She played for various clubs such as MFC, Forza FC, Beach Hut, Xavier, and GOM. Very familiar names in Manila football. Of course, she was in the youth national team, U14 2015 to 2016, and U15 in 2017. She was part of the Invitational Tournament Genesis program in Japan, where she was the team captain in 2016. She was part of the AFC U14 Girls Regional Championships, where they won a silver medal in 2016. Also in the AFF U15 Girls Championship, where they won a silver medal in 2017. So back-to-back silver medals for Anya Fuentes. Let's give it up for her. Of course, next up on our list, we have Mikaela Villacin, also known as MJ, 16-year-old striker or midfielder from Bacolod. She is currently with De La Salle Zobel on a full athletic scholarship. She's part of the national team for U15 in 2017 and U15, U16, 2018 to 2019. So she was part of that AFF U15 Girls Championship in 2017, where they won a silver medal. Also, she was the team captain in 2018 for the AFF U16 Girls Championship. She was also part of the 2018 AFC U17 qualifiers, where they qualified to the second round. And in 2019, they won 4th in the AFF Girls Championship. So let's give it up for MJ. And last but not the least, of course, we have Joyce Semacio, 20-year-old striker and midfielder from Davao. She recently just graduated from Miriam College High School, where she received a full scholarship as well. She plays for Miriam and most notably, of course, for Nomads FC and for Black Knights FC of Davao. She's been with the national team from U14 to U16 and even up to the women's national team. So a couple of her accomplishments, of course, she was the Davao City Best Athlete Award for football in 2014. She was also part of that historic AFC U14 Girls Regional Championship. They were the first to win silver among this line of players here. So she was part of that first team. And notably, she was also the MVP of the tournament. She also broke out into the national team in 2018, and she had a tremendous 2019 campaign with the women's national team for the AFC Olympic qualifier second round. She scored a goal in every match. So technically, she already has 5 goals and 7 caps so far with the national team. Let's give it up for Joyce. So of course, welcome everyone to our forum for today. And of course, we'll start out with Joyce. Thank you so much for being here. And, let's just dive in straight into all the football. So Joyce, you've consistently improved every year and you are continuously becoming a bright star in women's football. So take us through, of course, starting off of how you ended up playing in the first place and where has football taken you?
Being
Okay.
part of the youth. Okay, so thank you. Being part of the youth age, sobrang happy ko kasi may exposure, lalo na sa 2014, we played the AFC Championship against Thailand and we lost for 2-1. But we got second placer. And di ko na-expect na magiging MVP ako and sobrang unbelievable kasi iba yung na-champion and yung award na yon is nasa Philippines. So sobrang thankful pa rin ako kasi dahil doon, mas nakilala ako ng iba't ibang mga players and mga coaches, lalo na sa mga parents, na tinutulungan ako ngayon kung anong na-achieve ko ngayon sa buhay ko. And for now, I continue training to improve myself and para makasali sa next tournament ng women's team. And ayun, sobrang grateful ako na yung mga kasama ko sa women's team ngayon is sobrang mga mababait and tinutulungan nila ako na mag-improve yung sarili ko sa kanila.
Take us through, Joyce, how you started in Davao. You were playing in Davao. How did you end up playing in Manila?
Nagsimula po ako na kasama ko yung mga lalaki dito sa Davao. Tapos naglaro lang kami ng naglaro. Tapos Coach Danny Boy Adolfo invite me to play football. Like wala kaming sapatos, wala kaming gamit lahat. Tapos noon naglaro kami like every day laro ng laro. Tapos parang may isang tournament na for national team na nag-invite sa akin na mag-try out para ma-expose ako and ayun, maka-experience sa iba't ibang lugar. Ayun po.
Of course, and grabe din yung mga na-achieve mo, especially at such a young age. Imagine to be scouted at a young age and also to receive a scholarship. High school pa lang may scholarship na. So
Yes,
of course, we'll ask na rin as well, Anya. So Anya, share us the story of, how you started football, and especially because you've played for different clubs in Manila. So how has that helped you continuously be engaged in the sport? Wait, take out first there.
Sorry. Okay. So I started out like it was a really funny story because when I was younger, I had these two pet chicken. One was named Bob and the other one was named Ben. And Ben was a really fast chicken and like he pecked really hard and it hurt and it left like really bad wounds. So there's this one time he was chasing me around the house and my uncle saw it. His name's Uncle Joseph. And he's actually but he used to be a football player when he was in high school. So he brought me to Ateneo Football Center AFC because he saw that I was like a fast runner and like I had really fun footwork going on there, and yeah. So after that, I continued to play football until now, and like I joined teams like Beach Hut, like MFC, GOM, and Forza, stuff like that, just to like improve myself and to become a better player.
That's a very funny story, of course, how something so small turned out into a football career. And of course, MJ as well, you have a similar story in a sense to Joyce. Now, you played not just in Bacolod, but then you also moved to Manila. So take us through that transition of playing for Bacolod and then being scouted at a young age to play in Manila for LaSalle.
Okay. I started playing when I was 3 years old. I remember my first tournament in Manila was Alaska Cup back 2014. I was playing with the boys under 10 and under 12. And then before Alaska Cup, Coach Hans went to Bacolod to scout for scholars na mabibigyan niya. And then he went to two club teams, and isa na doon yung club ko, which is Minuluan. Doon niya rin nakita si Chelo Duran and Irish. Nung pumunta siya dito, late pa ako sa tryout kasi galing ako school. And then 10 years old pa rin ako doon, and then Coach Han saw my potential daw, and then sabi niya na he'll offer daw scholarship for LaSalle when I'm in the right age na daw. And then after that, mga few months after that, doon na ako nag-start sa national team, first training camp 2014. And then last year lang ako nag-decide na mag-transfer sa Zobel. Until now, Zobel pa rin.
Of course, it's such an inspiring story, especially for young athletes. And as we know, as you mentioned the names earlier, you know, football really has been such a big hub as well, coming from Bacolod, and coming from the other provincials. Raya, take us through how you ended up playing football in Cebu, and of course, eventually, how did you end up being discovered in the national team?
Well po, it all started when I was younger. I used to be overweight, or I used to be really fat. So my parents enrolled me in this football program because they knew in football I'll be sweating a lot, I'll be under the sun, and I'll be running a lot. So it was like a way for me to lose weight. And then, so that's where I was first introduced to football. But what I consider the start of my football journey was when I moved to Ateneo, and one of my friends who knew na I played soccer before asked me if I wanted to try out in the football team. And there, I remember we used to only be like 5 players. But in Ateneo, that's where I started to develop my passion for soccer and develop to become like a better player. And I feel like one of the reasons why I was able to be recognized in the national team was because I was exposed to many tournaments around the Philippines, such as like Batang Pinoy, Alliance, and especially most importantly, one of the biggest tournaments, FOF, where I was able to play in front of national team coaches, and that's where I got recognized and I was brought to training camp in Carmona.
Take us a bit through as well of how you started as well in that national team. So you were trying out, what age group did you start trying out already? And did you make it to the national team right away?
Well, my first year to try out for FOF, I was actually cut because in the first day of FOF, I got injured. So this was like a very discouraging moment for me. But, you know, I used this experience as a way to motivate myself for the next FOF. And so I used to train after I was able to recover from my injury. I trained extra every day so that I can prepare for the next FOF. And when the next year came, you know, I was playing well. I was doing good, and unfortunately, in the day before the All Stars in FOF, I was really sick. Like I started to vomit. I didn't play well, and you know, it was very disappointing because it was like all my hard work and my efforts and the sacrifices that I made, like it was all going to waste. But I was very glad that I had supportive teammates, a supportive team which encouraged me and helped me recover. And I was very thankful that they really motivated me because I was able to play that last game and I was able to show the national team coaches.
And of course, it also turned out for the best because eventually when you did make it in the national team, you ended up as well becoming the captain of the youth national team. Belay, can you as well share with us a bit more about FOF?
Oh, so FOF is called, it's actually Festival of Football. So there are certain clusters of RFA, so Regional Football Association, ang daming abbreviation. So in the clusters of the RFA, like so for example, Raya is based in Cebu, but she played in the FOF in San Carlos because that is one Regional Football Association clustered together so that teams, representatives from the different football associations compete. Actually, the word compete is actually wrong. They play because the goal of this tournament is more of talent identification as opposed to them trying to win a medal. So the goal supposed to be is that the coaches will use them in the best position that they think these players will succeed in the youth national teams, because it is to funnel players into the youth national teams.
Okay. And of course, as we talk about the national team, MJ, can you take us through a bit of the steps that the girls go through in preparing for a youth national team program?
Okay, so first is tryouts. Then you receive an email from PFF if nakasama ka sa training camp. Usually mga 30 players yan for sa training camp. Tas every week nagka-cut ng 3 to 4 players until maabot yung 18 to 23 players para sa abroad na tournament. In training camp, we wake up mga 5:30, tas nag-training kami 6 to 8. On game days, example game, hapon, morning limbering lang, and then sometimes activities. Tapos during our break, after breakfast until lunch, it's either maglaba lang kami or mag-hang out kami, room hopping, or yung iba natutulog. Then lunch, and then after lunch, mostly lahat nagpe-prepare for afternoon training. Pero sometimes nagja-jam rin kami kasi marami din talented na mga teammate na marunong mag-guitar, magaling kumanta. So, yan na rin yung parang bond namin outside the pitch. Sometimes PT rin if you have injuries or tight muscles, and then training 3 to 5:30, and then dinner, and then surrender phones. Also, if hindi ka pa nakaligo, then you can't get your phone. Tapos, lights off mag-9. If mahuli ka na awake ka pa after 9, edi good luck sa training next morning.
So, of course, it's very refreshing from your point of view of how the youth national team prepares. And, it's also something to put out as well there for other people to see that it's also no joke to train for the national team. It entails a lot of sacrifices, and as well as really discipline in, waking up early, making sure that you sleep early, training on time, and of course eating the right food at proper times as well. And of course, speaking of national team journeys, Anya, I just want you to weigh in on this as well, that usually even at a young age, such as the U14, U15, U16, there are already overseas based players that help when it comes to the tournaments. So how do you feel about having overseas based players even at such young age groups?
When they first came in, actually, I was really intimidated and nervous. Obviously, because they have a different playing style and they're more aggressive, and their physique is a bit stronger. So it's really tough competition when they're there, and camp became harder, obviously, and because I was in the Genesis team before that, so the team with our team before, it's we already established a strong bond, we already had chemistry. So with the overseas players coming in, it was kind of hard to reestablish that chemistry and to find better connections with those players, because obviously they're new and they play differently compared to us. Pero during camp, it's you really just have to adjust to what is given to you, and you have to learn talaga to play with everyone. And they're really good competition, honestly, because they help us level up our playing style, and they helped us improve in not just mentally but also physically. And they parang they showed they let us, what do you call that? Uh, they sorry, mind block.
Okay.
Um, they helped us prove ourselves, like the local players, that we can be just as good as them, if not like even better. Like we're like at par with the international standards, something like that.
Okay, that's good to know. And of course, MJ, I saw you like smiling as well. Do you have anything to add as well on the discussion of overseas-based players?
Oh, malaki yung tulong nila sa amin. And it's also like a challenge for me and for us kasi kailangan namin mag-cope up sa kanilang level. So, parang motivation na rin para sa amin.
Okay, that's good to know, and as well that nakita that even though different backgrounds and all that, when it comes to the national team, people really will be coming from different areas, whether from the Philippines or abroad, and you all come together as well to just really play the sport for the country. Doesn't matter where you're from. It's nice to see how you're able to come together, and of course use that to motivate yourself to become better players as well. Joyce, you've had a lot of experience as well, dealing with overseas-based players and other players as well, not only in the youth national team, but also in the women's national team. So how has the preparations in the youth national team helped you become a better player as well when you came to already trying out and joining those training camps for the women's national team?
For me, sobrang nung first tryout ko pa lang, nahihirapan ako sa tryout. Like, iniisip ko na mas mas taas yung level ng mga kasama kasi iba yung mga province namin, iba-iba yung skills namin, tapos yung mga attitude ng iba, magaganda rin. Tapos, ayun, parang tinatry ko sa sarili ko na kailangan ko mag-training para tumaas yung level ko and makasabay sa mga kalaro ko, lalo na sa women's team ngayon. Kasi ang laki ng tulong ng youth national team sa akin. Kasi parang angat yung level ko kung parang sino yung na face-to-face ko ng mga kalaban, parang na-challenge ako sa sarili ko na kailangan ko mag-fight na ipaglaban yung bansa natin, training lang ng training, tapos disiplina sa sarili, hanggang madala ko sa women's national team. And ayun, maganda naman po yung mga bonding namin sa women's team, sa youth team, and marami akong nakikilalang ibang mga players, mga coaches, and lalo na sa mga parents na tumutulong sa akin na kung saan ako ngayon.
Ano yung main difference nung pretend sa training camp when it comes to youth national team training camp at yung women's national team training camp? May difference ba?
Meron naman po. Yung sa women's team, sobrang mahirap na kasi yung mga kasama ko is sobrang matataas na yung level, like the UAP players, the ATES, the national team. Tapos yung sa youth naman, parang hindi namin kilala yung isa't isa. Like, laro lang kami ng laro, enjoy lang kami ng enjoy. Kung saan namin masipa yung bola. Parang, yun po.
Okay, and of course, our youngest player in here as well, you have Raya. Raya, at such a young age, you already had to take on that leadership role. So for you, how do you keep yourself motivated? And of course, how do you keep the young girls as well around you motivated?
Well, po, one of my biggest motivations are the people around me. When I'm in the field or in the pitch, I'm not only playing for myself, but for those who really helped me get me to the place I am right now, or who helped me become the player I am. And one motivation also is that knowing that I'll bring pride to my team and that I'll be able to guide my teammates and help them become better players. And I think one way that I can encourage or motivate my team is, I'll trying to encourage them in the pitch, trying to lead by example. Like in the pitch, I try to be as serious or as mature as I can be, because I know how serious or how big of a responsibility it is, because we're here to represent our country.
You know, that's
Tosh, on that note, like, she has this serious tone talaga about her. Yung parang, yung classmate mo na sobrang, studious. And then, nag-ano sila, I don't know, Mio's showing, we were sharing the screen earlier of the video of their initiation, because during training camps, these girls usually have performances as initiations. And when Raya came on for her initiation, my gosh, she brought the house down. So it shows to the character. She really balances na when it's time to be serious, she is serious. Like our girls here also. But there's also that fun side to them, which is what we're trying to show. Yeah, there you go. The video is being shared. That these camps, there's the strict discipline side, but there's also the fun aspect to it.
And of course, for you, Raya, syempre, you're from Cebu and your training camp and all the preparations were in Manila. So what was it like, having to adapt to a different environment, to this whole training camp setup before playing for the national team in your tournaments abroad?
Well, to be honest po, it was really hard to adjust because first of all, I was away from my family. Second, I was playing under a new coach and teammates that I've never played before, and so it was kind of hard. And I remember in my first few weeks in national team, I was so kanang tense, or I used to be so scared to make mistake that I wasn't really playing my game. But I'm very grateful now my coaches were able to see the problem, and they reminded me na, I should stay calm and relax and just have fun and play my game. And I started to build connections with my team. I started to make friends with my teammates, and that also helped me because I was more comfortable with them. I was able to trust them, and that helped me adjust to the way we play, and that helped me adjust to the way the team plays. So, yun lang po.
Of course, it's nice to hear, of course, everyone's different experiences coming into the national team. But MJ, I want to focus on one of the, like in the slideshows that we saw, a lot of it really said no gadgets, and no gadgets. There were big signs of that as well. And so, you mentioned of how they take away their phones during tournaments. And in this day and age, social media takes up such a big chunk of people's time in general. So take us through some of the effects of social media, especially during football tournaments.
People are expecting me to do well always. Thus, sometimes reading hate comments or mga negative comments can also bring down or affect my game. Pero I learned na parang I learned na social media isn't that important.
I think
It's
sorry, go MJ.
Go coach.
No. I think Tosh, to expound, I mean just to expound on the question, is that during our day and age, it was quite difficult to even watch games on live streaming, to even see results. It was like you would have to dig through like websites to find anything about what happened to the game, much less who was playing, who was starting 11 and stuff like that. But right now, everything is so accessible to these players and to everyone watching back home. You can see the starting 11 right away on social media. You can see all the live stream games. So how does the added pressure of that, MJ, specifically affect, how can that affect a mindset of a player going into a tournament or training camp?
Knowing there are a lot of people watching via live stream or sometimes in the stadium, it's pressuring also na kailangan tama lahat, na parang natatakot ako magkamali inside the pitch.
MJ, I remember that you were sharing with us a story earlier regarding you yourself personally experiencing with having the vlog as well during training camp. We hope you don't mind that, being able to share that story as well of how that affected your playing.
Noong Palembang 2018, first day pa lang ng camp, I tried to vlog how it's like being in the national team. And then I think naging problem yon kasi parang hindi football yung nasa mind ko na parang um nag nag-iba yung priorities ko and nakita rin ng coaches so they evaluated me and then sinabihan ako nila na parang I wasn't playing my game. So yeah, parang I needed to put it aside muna and parang football minded muna kasi I'm in camp. Yeah.
Anya, I guess, in somewhat the same age as well. Do you have any takes as well on, how social media can take effect on players, most especially on and off the pitch?
Yeah, social media, it has really big impact because like you're speaking to a really wide audience. So like so much people get to see you and like what you're doing. Like every move is like it's recorded and like it's stuck on the internet like, almost forever. And I guess that it really pressures us into thinking na we have to do everything right. Like everything has to be like this and like there's a certain standard that you have to set for yourselves because of social media. But I think um it shouldn't be like that. Like you shouldn't think of social media as sort of a pressure. More like you should think of it as a fuel to be better. Like you shouldn't restrain yourself just because other people are watching you or just because there's like a certain standard that you want to reach, but because you want to be like you do it just because you want to be better and like not just because of other people.
Yes, and of course, speaking of other people, even at a young age, everyone experienced pressure. We get pressure from different types of people, self-pressure, the pressure that you put on yourself. How do you personally deal with the pressure from whether it's social media, other people, or your own expectations?
Usually I like try to convert the pressure, like what I'm feeling, into my action. So like I try not to let it dictate how I'm playing. Like I know in the past I've played really like I've put out really bad performances because of the pressure that I've dealt with. But then like over the years I've learned that you just have to convert it. Like use it as a way to improve yourself. Because like nasa yun naman kung like how you deal with pressure, whether you're gonna let it pull you back or whether you're going to let it like push you forward and stuff like that.
Of course, and Raya as well. I'd like to hear like what you think of that pressure as well, and what kind of pressures you have to deal with.
Well, I think most of the time the pressure really comes from myself because, there are people who have high expectations. I feel like they have high standards for me. They expect me to play this certain way or to always perform well, and then sometimes I pressure myself trying to reach their expectations or reach their standards. That sometimes it can affect the way I play. So one way that I can cope with like this pressure, I try to block all the expectations or the criticism that people have of me because I know na no matter how much I try, no matter how much effort I'll put into, not I will never please everyone. There'll always be some people who will never be satisfied. So and then I realized na at the end of the day, there's no one else who will make me happy except myself. So I try na I try to block out all of the what's coming from outside and just trying to please myself because it's me who's in the pitch, it's me who's playing, so why not make myself proud or make myself happy.
No,
Josh, I can really attest to seeing how these girls have overcome these hurdles because being part of the staff for a few of these teams, I've seen them at those points, the pressure points, if I may, like at that time when they can either crumble or overcome it. So and amazingly enough, they've been able to overcome it. I've seen some girls who were not able to achieve the same type of success in terms of overcoming this type of pressure. So I guess what I wanted to comment lang was it's amazing, and now you have this forum out there, young girls aspiring to be national team players or athletes are watching you, could be watching you right now, and I hope they can reach out to you. You can open your doors to them, that you can give them advice and if they need it, and I hope you can guide them well for the next generation of young football players.
And of course, everyone here as well sharing all your stories and how you've overcome the different difficulties that you faced, and especially at such a young age to be already in that bigger picture, and trying to see that bigger picture. It's nice to see the strong young ladies that you guys are, and it really is such a great example for other players out there as well. And of course, Joyce, among the players here, let's say that you've had the most experience as well playing, from U14, U16, and then even making it in the national team. You've had a great youth career, and even your breakout season with the women's national team, as we were said earlier, 5 goals so far and 7 caps already. But last year, you got cut in the women's national team for the Southeast Asian Games. But I want to know is that what keeps you motivated to keep going? Because, as we say, and as Raya was saying earlier, that she also got cut in a previous tournament, and, she still continues to play. She still continues to try. It's not the end of the world when you get caught that first time or during one time or the other in a tournament. So for you personally, what keeps you motivated to keep going and to keep trying?
For me, nung nakat ako, sobrang nakakasad, like nakakaiyak, like grabe yung iyak ko kasi SEA Games na yon. But then parang iniisip ko sa sarili ko always, like sa utak ko always, na kailangan ko mag-training palagi. Alam kong may kulang sa sarili ko, pero parang kino-correct naman ako, pero kailangan ko pa rin mag-extra kasi lahat ng ginagawa ko may purpose, lalo na po sa family ko, sa mga young athlete players, tapos lalo na po sa academics ko. So kailangan yung pagkat po sa akin, parang na-motivate po ako na mag-try again and mag-try again hanggang sa makuha ako in the next tournament. Yan na po.
Oh, and in terms of what keeps you motivated as well, you talked a bit about academics and your family. What else can you share about that? How important is football to you?
For me, football po, sobrang importante po sa buhay ko. Like, kung wala po yung football, wala po ako sa Manila ngayon, hindi po ako marunong sumipa ngayon. Parang nandahil po sa football, nakakatulong siya sa family ko. Like, lalo na po sa pag-aaral ko, like mga parents, mga coaches, tumutulong na rin po sa akin para makuha ko yung dream ko na makagraduate, maka-motivate ng ibang mga tao, lalong-lalo na po sa paglalaro ko ng football, na makakatulong ako sa iba't ibang mga players. At lalo na po sa bansa natin.
Of course, it's nice to see na your mindset, talagang at such a young age, you already see the bigger picture. No, that's very rare. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I just to add on to what you're about to say is like that her mindset is really rare in the way, and I just have to add to all of her achievements are like so far beyond some of our reach already. Like she has achieved so much at her young age. Yet I have yet to meet like such a humble young football player. Like she's very humble. Like she got cut from the AFF and SEA Games lineup last year, but for the SEA Games, which we hosted here in the Philippines, Joyce, instead of like being so upset, like she could have just watched the games at home on her phone or something, but she messaged me asking for tickets and was so shy about it and everything. And I was like, of course, Joyce, you're basically part of this team. And like, I remember just telling her when I handed her ticket was that I expect you to be back on this team next year.
Yes.
And she said that she would keep fighting. And it's just like, just that privilege of meeting someone like this is very inspiring, even to me.
Thank you.
Having that positive out, that you could see even in that video, how she can put smiles on people's faces, and that always making sure that you stay positive no matter what happens at the moment. That moment won't last forever. And of course, it's how you think of the future, your mindset on everything. That's really what changes. And you could see it even in your smile right now of how much football means to you. And I know that you're still going to go places in football. And of course, speaking of impacts as well, I just want to ask Raya as well. You've had a lot of coaches throughout your young career that has helped molded you into becoming the player that you are now. Are there any specific or coaches that have really left an impact on your career at a young age?
Well, I just want to shout out to all of my coaches because they've been a big factor in my journey here in the national team. But the two coaches that I really want to thank would be my first two coaches, Coach Apple and Coach Milan. Not only were they there in the beginning of my football journey, but even until now, they continue to help me and give me advices to develop as a player. I remember in every practice they used to push me to do my best because they saw the skills and the talent I had. And sometimes when I couldn't see it, they saw the potential and how I could develop as a player. And not only were they coaches, but also mentors. I remember they used to tell my team na no matter how skillful or how good of a player you are, it's also important na you should be a good person and have a good attitude. They would always look out for me and take care of me. And not only that, not only were they my coaches, but they were also my friends. Like, yes, in the pitch, they're very strict. Like, if you know Coach Apple, very, very serious. But outside of the pitch, they're really, like, not a lot of people know, but they're very chill and like you can vibe with them. Like, I remember our coaches used to take us out, libre as food, or Coach Apple used to play PUBG with us, or Ross when we had free time. So not only was I able to create good memories in the pitch, but also out.
It's good to know. And of course, it's nice to see that, that the fact that a coach's job does not just stay on the pitch, that it really affects people even outside the pitch, and the lessons that they help bring you when you move on in your career. How about for you, MJ? Do you have any coaches that have really left an impact so far?
Siguro my national team coaches and also Coach Warren. Coach Warren's my coach here in Bacolod, and siya talaga yung parang nag-push sa akin. And then, nung nakilala ko yung mga Philippine team coaches ko, it's so rare to have a coach like that na will be super blunt and will tell you what's wrong. Kasi they can see your potential and they want you to like gusto ka nila umangat, and they also wanna help you. They also help me outside football, with life, with understanding things, and also seeing the bigger picture in. And I think if hindi dahil sa kanilang mga advice, mga evaluation, I won't be where I am now.
It says a lot as well. Last week we actually had some of your youth national team coaches as well on here, and it really goes to show as well how much these coaches put in what they do. And you can also see it in the players as well, as we're talking to you guys, of the impact that they leave with you guys as well, that help you continue your journey with the national team or continue your journey with football. A lot of times people end up being discouraged, but it can also go that other way, and you can see what happens when you continue to pursue something that you love. And seeing most especially at young ages, MJ, Joyce, players that are getting scholarships even at a young age to already get full scholarships, play for schools. It really opens your eyes to also to that bigger picture, and how your coaches, as you were saying, Coach Warren, that even in Bacolod pa lang, that they were already pushing you to be better because they already see that potential in you. So they're helping you achieve, of course, that bigger dream as well. I also want to ask as well, Joyce and Anya, both of you have played in the PFF Women's League. So Anya, you played with UP in the PFF Women's League. How has playing in the Women's League also helped affect your game?
Hello, I'm sorry. Could you repeat the
Yes.
last Shopee?
You're asking that you played in the PFF Women's League. So how has playing at a higher level of football, more games as well, how has that helped your game?
It like from being a player from the youth national team, it was like a really big jump because a lot of the players in the women's league, they were all seasoned, like they experienced so much already, and like they're more aggressive and they have like better builds compared to me. I was like really tiny. But then like it was good exposure for me being such a young player because I was able to up my game. Like I improved myself because I can't just stay stagnant or else I'm not gonna be able to play like alongside them. So it really helped me learn more as a player, and it helped me develop my skills and like especially my speed and my stamina because it's really hard to like keep up with players of that level. And obviously I had to learn to adapt to my teammates, especially since I was kind of new there and like I really didn't have that much chemistry. It really taught me how to learn to play with everyone, like people of like with different personalities, behaviors and like playing styles. And I also learned a lot from my coaches there too.
Okay, that's of course good to know, to see that you're continuously develop your game, and continuously seeing that positive in every challenge that you have to face. Joyce, I want you to chime in as well on this conversation. I've seen you play a lot of times. I've actually gone against you as well in the PFF Women's League and even in the Sevens Football League as well. And I've even noticed that in games as well, you've played different positions. You've already have become as well a utility player for Nomads FC. There are times you'd have to play up on top, and then there are times that you have to play mid, attacking mid, sometimes defensive mid. Take us through what you went through as well playing in the PFF Women's League and having to adapt to different positions. You're still on mute, Joyce. Take out the mute. There.
Kasi I just want to say hi to Coach Shane. Hi, Coach Shane. Thank you for everything. So, nung naglaro po ako ng PFF, sobrang kinakabahan po ako kasi lahat ng mga kalaban ko, like the UAP players, the ATES, the national team players, parang tingin ko sa sarili ko tuloy na nasa baba ako. Pero, tinatry ko pa rin sa sarili ko, like, ginagawa ko yung tama, ginagawa ko yung kung anong sinasabi ni Coach Shane, na kailangan ko magkipagsabayan. Tapos, marami din ako natutunan sa kanila na mga kalaban ko na kailangan kong maging strong or independent, na kailangan lumaban and matapos yung laro, na manalo or matalo basta masaya kami or naka-perform kami ng maayos. Tapos ayun po.
So as we said nga, in the PFF Women's League, and of course with your continuous journey with that national team, you're playing a lot more games ng 11 aside as compared
Yes.
to when you were in the youth. So how has playing so many more games really helped you develop your game?
Ayun po, nakakapagod po pero kinakaya naman kasi alam kong sa sarili ko to na kailangan ko mag-improve, lalo na po sa teammate ko, na kailangan namin maka-experience ng ganitong laro, like every day, every weekend, ganun po.
Okay, Belay, do you have any additional questions from online? Belay.
Yes, Tosh.
Were there any coaches who had any questions for the young girls? Okay, but so far, we'll just move on first to, I guess, the lessons as well, that since all of you have played in the national team, and even me myself, coming from experience, the national team, playing for the national team has really changed my life, whether it was U19 or that women's national team. So, I want to ask each and every one of you as well, what were the important lessons that you've learned from playing in the national team? And I guess we'd start with Raya. You want to know how playing with the national team has affected you?
Well, I think playing for the national team taught me the importance of discipline, and it also taught me na if you have a purpose or a reason, that you must stay focused, because nowadays we get distracted, sometimes lose focus on what our purpose is. So it's important now we continue to strive our best, and to, like, for example, in training camp, like in the pitch, we, like, sometimes we get distracted with the things around us, and sometimes we forget why the purpose of why we're there, which was to play football and represent the country. So, like, I learned that once on the pitch, you must give your 100%, and you must work hard, because nothing in the national team will be given to you. And I also learned from this experience na, you must enjoy every moment. It's important to make the most out of this experience. I tried, as like, I learned to make as much good memories I can with my teammates and my coaches. And it's also important now with this experience, I try as much to gain as much knowledge as I can get, or as much learnings I can get, so that I can improve not only as a player but as a person. And I also try to share what I know to the people around me, so that I can help them. So it's important po lang to enjoy and have fun, and to make most out of the opportunity and the chances given to you.
Raya, as you were sharing your experience, honestly, as I can hear you talk at such a young age, I'd say that you're very, very mature for your age. And your teammates in the U16 tournament, they're very lucky to have you as a captain. Very,
Thank you
very
po.
Coach
Thank
Ab
you.
should be very proud to be able to produce a player like you.
Thank
So
you.
next on, we'd like to ask MJ as well, with everything that you've experienced with the national team, what are the most important learnings that you were able to take away?
I think I learned na being open and friendly is very important, lalo na sa teammates mo, kasi the bond outside the pitch will help the chemistry inside the pitch. Also, I learned how to be independent, because in camp, no one will do things for me. So I really needed to learn how to do stuff on my own, especially laundry. Yeah. Also, be coachable. Listen to the instructions of the coaches, because no matter how good you are, if you're not coachable, then parang wala rin. Yeah. And most important is to be humble. I mean, like, I know national team is the top right now sa mga sa mga teams, pero you shouldn't put it in your mind na mas magaling ka sa mga iba, kasi you both are working hard, and may iba't ibang talents or ways na magpakita ng talents yung ibang players.
And as you're as well talking even earlier about your experiences that you went through with the national team, it also takes a lot of courage for someone to be able to share openly even the struggles that you were able to experience in the national team, and even just as a person in general. So it says a lot of how resilient you are, and how you don't let bad judgments or things that happened to you in the past really affect how you are. Instead, you've used them as learning methods, and I can see it now in how you talk about the things that you've learned in football as well. So again, for me, hearing the way you girls talk, it's been very inspiring as well to see the maturity of players, most especially because they've been getting national team experience, how quickly you guys are mature at such a young age. And of course, Anya, I'd also like to ask you, I guess, that same question as well. What has been...
Natasha, can I actually can I just we have a message from Coach Anto Gonzalez of the UP women's football team, and I think it would be perfect for Anya to answer it instead. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Okay, so how can the federation help girls like you improve and reach their dreams of playing at the highest level, or what do they need to improve their game further? Anya?
Sorry, could you repeat the question? I just blacked out a bit.
Miss Yuna, you have time for that. How can the federation help girls like you improve and reach their dreams of playing at the highest level?
Um, well, with the trainings that we're given, they can really help us, and like the experience, it really helps you level up your game. It helps you improve a lot, and like you learn from like the tournaments that we play in and like the training session. And it helps you really develop your playing style, and yeah, I think the federation can like also improve in like what do you call it, in fostering like improving their grassroots players, like the local players. And like I feel like it could really help a lot if there were more training sessions and like more, it was like more often. I answered the question. I don't know if I answered the question.
And just in addition to that, I think I'd want Joyce, since you have been part of this PFF program, in a sense that you were part of U14, you also reached U16 and the national team. I just want you to add in to that question by Coach Anto of what else can the PFF do to make sure that the players can improve and reach that highest level?
I think po sa training pa lang, maganda na yung parang parang maganda na yung parang pagkatrabaho para yung mga players mag-focus sa training and na mind block pa ako. sorry po.
It's a hard question to ask, but I guess I want to chime in. I want to like add a bit on that, on Coach Anto's question, and it's something I guess that we've also talked about earlier, that you see that there's such great potential and talent in our youth players. So these girls have gone through tournaments and not only playing well, but also coming home with the silverware, something that that's still the national team is trying to achieve, the women's national team is trying to achieve. And you've seen it in the U14, in the U15, in the U16. And as we mentioned even earlier as well, that it can't stop there. That from U16 and then the national team, there's still that big gap where girls can continuously improve, but they also need venues to be able to improve, such as the U17, the U19. These are tournaments that should also be there so that the gap is smaller when they get to the national team. And if you see like how these girls have also played together and bonded well at such a young age, you need to continuously, from that momentum that they had at a young age, you have to continuously grow from that as well, which is making sure that these girls are continuously playing together. It can't just be U14, U15, tapos, it's up to your schools, it's up to your schools, up to your clubs. It has to be that the PFF needs to see that bigger picture and make sure that they take care of these girls, because these girls are bringing home the medals. They're bringing home the trophies. So you have to also make sure that there are more tournaments and venues for these girls to continuously play and to continuously bring home that medal as well. Belay, how about you?
Tasha, feel ko yung passion. Feel ko yung passion. Like, we need to. I agree. And also, I think final question that, it's really a good question to end, if that's okay with you, from Coach Elio. So being a national team player is a responsibility. How do they inspire younger girls to strive to reach what they have achieved? And as how do you inspire young girls? But merong comment lang from Coach Hans na bigla ko nabasa. Advice daw. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Advice to the girls, keep your feet on the ground. Pero hindi siya question. Pero sige, let's stick to Coach Elio's question. How do you inspire younger girls to strive to achieve what you have achieved?
Joyce, let's start with you. As you are the most seasoned among the girls on the screen as well. So how can you inspire younger girls to achieve, of course, the things that you've achieved at such a young age? It's still on mute? Yes, there.
I think for me, pinapakita ko lang po sa mga bata or sa mga young age, na kailangan ko na maging humble sa sarili and lalo na po yung respeto. Like, pinapakita ko na mag-train ng maayos, tulungan sila, turuan sila kung ano yung at mali para ma-inspire sila sa paglalaro ng football. Lalo na yung mga bata ngayon na kailangan ng support sa mundo natin.
Okay, that's good. And Raya, I think I'd want you to continuously chime in on this because, you know, the way that you talk, you know, it's very leadership-like. And I think a lot of people can learn from even the way that you talk, not just the way that you play, but the way that you talk. So how do you help inspire the younger players?
I think one way for me to inspire, especially those younger than me, is trying to lead by example. So, like, let's say in our trainings, I'll really show na like I really work and try to do my best in every training or in every game, and not only in the pitch but also trying to lead by example out the pitch. You know, being a good person, being friendly to each other, to the people around me, like, trying just to be a good role model.
You know, that's I think that key factor that you said there's to always be a good person. You know, that's one thing that, you know, especially in this day and age, you know, with everything that's happening around us, I think that's very important. As you mentioned, it is to always try to be a good person. Anya, do you have anything to add to that? You're still on mute, so unmute it first. There.
I think one way to like inspire the youth is like to show them like through playing how much passion that we have for our sport, and like I think inspiring them through what we love, like showing them how much we love it. I think that's going to really push them to play more and like to enjoy what they're doing, because if kami mismo like we don't enjoy what we're doing, how else are we going to inspire other people to play and like to see the beauty in the sport? Parang ganon.
That's very, very true. Belay, do you have anything else to add to this?
I think okay na. The questions are answered, and yes, we chose them for a reason to be here, because they are very admirable. They're very good role models nga on and off the pitch, and they're definitely some of the girls that the younger girls can look up to and reach out to if ever they need any advice.
And of course, MJ as well, we want to ask you that same thing, is that, you know, how, in your opinion, how can you inspire the younger generation?
Siguro, one way to inspire the younger ones is to share my experience, I think, because my journey in the national team is parang a rough road na maraming downfalls. Kasi I think yung pinaka-important lang is yung comeback, and you have to come back stronger and to prove that you're way better than before, ganon. And then also, galing sa mga beach hut coaches ko, they give me evaluations pa rin na to use my social media in a good way. Like, kasi given na I have a lot of people who support me, and most of them are mga younger girls, so I need to post good stuff, parang to inspire them rin, like kasi sometimes they wanna be like me, they ask kung paano maging ako like that. Always I always get that question, pero like, yeah, lead by example rin, kasi eventually they will follow what you do.
Yeah. Of course. And, you know, as you mentioned that, you know, you mentioned that very important keynote is that being a national team player means that you're representing more than just yourself. So you're not just representing that name that you have on the back of your jersey, but you're representing that flag that you have on the front of your jersey as well. So it's something that's bigger than yourself. And so as we said, that it's important that, and it's nice to see that you girls are such great role models as well for that younger generation. You carry that flag with pride, and you can see it in the strength and the resilience of all four of you. I am really in awe, honestly, of how you girls think and how you girls continue to improve, and how you've been turning every situation, from every negative situation or any letdown, to help you come back stronger. And I really wish all of you the best in your football career all throughout. I hope to see all of you continuously playing, especially continuously striving for that higher level, because I think that all of you really have that potential, because half of the battle is really in your mind. And the fact that you girls can overcome all that, that already says a lot of what you can achieve on the pitch and even off the pitch. So I'm more than grateful to be here, being able to talk to you girls. So thank you, of course, for your time, and I'll just turn it over to Belay.
Thanks, Tosh. And seeing them grow from the youngsters, under 14, they were so far from where they are right now, and it makes me so proud that just the way they are, just them being who they are without even showing you their skills on the pitch, they impressed you already. And I hope they have impressed a lot of the people watching them today, and encourages more young girls out there to strive to be like them, to make it to the national team, and to continue on and continue playing football, and stay connected and engaged with um, Philippine football in this time. With that, I would like to thank all of you who gave us your time today and your insights, super invaluable to us. And I would like to invite also everyone to watch again our session 5 of hashtag Grow Her Game Filipina Football Forum at Home series on Thursday, May 21 at 3 p.m., where we will be talking about how foundations contribute to the growth of women's football in the country. And some of our guests will be Roy Moore of Fair Play for All Foundation and Kevin Goko of the Danny Moran Foundation. So I look forward to seeing you again next week, same time, everyone. Thank you for your time today, and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.